Hello friends and welcome back. I'm Enterprise Architecture and we are back here playing Oceanblock 2. Now last episode Geek and I got involved in getting into the Rift and fighting some of the initial enemies that we are going to be encountering here, but today I need to make some more progress here. I've been working on the Cybernetic Augmentation Center and honestly I'm just about out of Skulk. That means we need to go on an adventure to get more Skulk, and that also means that we're going to have to fight one of the nasty baddies in this pack. So, with no further ado, let's dive right in. So as mentioned last episode, we started unlocking a whole bunch of cybernetic augmentations from Oratech. So we've got a lot of the basics here done, and in between episodes I've tried to get a few more done, including mining speed, hardened plating is now installed, carbon reinforced lungs. We've got the auto feeder, which is something I've been wanting from the backpacks mod for a while, but I have yet to find an auto feeder backpack upgrade. So this will solve for that instead. We got block reach, a whole lot of things, but before I can make the rest of the lenses that I need here, we are going to need Skulk. And so we need to go skulking about underneath the ocean to be able to take care of that. So I've got my handy dandy Enderic Railgun with me and all of my pneumatic armor equipped. We did figure out what was going on with pneumatic armor, and that was that you actually have to configure your pneumatic armor by pressing U, and scuba had gotten turned off somehow, I guess between reboots or something. So you need to enable scuba to make sure that you are indeed using oxygen from your inventory. So with that done, let's do a couple of things here. First things first, I actually want to go over to this neighboring island here and take care of some stuff. So this is spawning Shadowbeasts, as you can see. They're annoying, but I can take care of them really easily with just a lot of lasering. No problem there. Let's take care of the last few that are here. Come on. There we go. Easy work of these quests. Even if it is making horrible noises at us. There we go. That's most of them. There we go. Is that everybody? Yeah, I think that's everybody. So we get... Oh, no, there's another one. We get a couple of different items here for our trouble, namely these abyssal fragments, which are critically important here because we're going to use those to make some other stuff. So as far as I'm aware, there's no way to break trial spawners in this pack. So we kind of just have to leave this one be, but we can continue to go into this base here and take out all of the baddies otherwise. And the regular spawners, I believe we can indeed put into a cardboard box for mechanism. So we're going to try that. And then I should be able to just break these. There we go. And now we can go around collecting those. By doing so, we can clear out this entire base and all of the items that are in it. And then this space actually becomes something that we can, in theory, turn into a section of our main base. I might run a tube between the two, some sort of a walkway, a causeway, something to connect them. Okay. So this is now cleared out. We do need to go ahead and put some lighting in here that's more serious, because if we do take off our helmet, you can see it is actually very, very dark in here without night vision, but that gives us some options here. So at some point, we're going to want to start farming those fragments and pieces from the trial spawners. So I went ahead and made us a bunch of Enderic lasers real quick, and I threw some machine yield add-ons, speed add-ons, and most importantly, the hunter add-on. By configuring these with the hunter add-on, you can choose your lasers to actually attack mobs, and you can say passive mobs, you can say hostile mobs, you can say all mobs. So hopefully when this trial spawner goes off next, the lasers here, all 9 of them that I've put up, will do all of the nasty work for me. Of course, we have our friend the absorption hopper sitting here so that we can get our EXP out of it, and also any drops that they make. All right, and here we go. Well, they don't seem to be killing them very quickly, but neither are they killing me very quickly, so I guess that's okay. And although in the path of the lasers here, I don't seem to be taking any damage, it looks like that worked pretty well. I didn't take a single point of damage, and we got all of the loot without having to do any of the work. So I should just be able to use this as an AFK farm with no trouble. All right, that's the easy stuff taken care of. Let's go handle the hard stuff. There is the absolutely terrifying monster that's down under here that I have not dealt with yet. And now that we are better armed, we should be able to take care of that and also deal with everything else here. So Oh, for instance, I can destroy myself with lightning. That's probably not ideal. Well, I am learning two things. One, the Railgun from Auratech, if you right-click underwater, it electrocutes you and kills you instantly. If you right-click, the laser actually doesn't work underwater at all, because I think it's just hitting the water blocks and then disappearing. So we need to arm ourselves up a little better and come back here in a minute. Okay, so to gear up from here, I think what we're going to do is switch over to the Immersive Engineering Railgun. I mentioned I want to make these in the last couple of episodes, and we did the Auratech Railgun instead, so let's try this one and see if it does better underwater. First things first, what we're going to need for this is a bunch of ingredients we already can make, with the exception of the HV accumulator. This requires a couple of bespoke items that we don't have access to. We need to make buckets of redstone acid. That's easy enough. We just need redstone dust and buckets of water. We can do that by hand. The thing that's slightly more complicated here is we need hop graphite plates. That means that we are going to need creosote oil, and we're going to need hop graphite dust in a bottling machine and with a metal mold press. Doable, but difficult. And then second, we are going to need an industrial squeezer so that we can make the hop graphite dust. So let's get started on those. I've made a little more room next to all of my other immersive engineering machines, so we can go through that real quick. So let's do the squeezer first. We're going to need light engineering blocks, redstone engineering blocks, pistons, steel scaffolding, steel fence, fluid pipes, and wooden barrels. Most of those I think we have automated recipes for. While we're making those ingredients, we will also go ahead and make the bottling machine ingredients, which is pretty much all of that. And also we're going to need a fluid pump. So let's go ahead and get those manufactured real quick. All right, first things first, we're going to need altogether 4 light engineering blocks. Let's get those started. And we're going to need 2 redstone engineering blocks. So we can actually put one back. We're going to need 9 steel scaffolding, and we are going to need, I think, 4 iron sheet metal. So let's see here. A few extra there. Sheet metal. Let's grab those real fast. Do remember to keep your magnet turned off when you're using any of the immersive engineering presses, because otherwise these will suck those ingots directly into your inventory. One of my least favorite things about immersive engineering, although there is a lot to love. And 2 fluid pipes, 4 wooden barrels. I don't think we've automated any of that. Fluid? No, we have not. All right, so fluid pipe. We want these. Oh, and for that, we're going to need iron plates. And we'll make up those 4 wooden barrels while we wait for that to finish. Okay, so I think that should now be everything for the squeezer. Let's double back here and check out the bottling machine real quick. This is only missing 3 conveyor belts and a fluid pump. So let's see here. Conveyor belts, do we have any? No, but we can make them. Let's get started on that, and it's immediately done. Here we go. And then the fluid pump we're going to have to make manually. So let's see here. Does this need anything fancy? It does not look like it needs anything fancy. Perfect. Okay, so that should be all of the ingredients there. I think each of these is taking up a 3x3 space, so they should fit nicely into this little area that I've set down here. So let's get these set up real fast. Okay, that should be the squeezer, if I can remember where you're supposed to whack it. There we go. Okay, that took care of that. So the outputs are here on the orange slots. The blue is going to be our input for our items. So that's going to work fine for us. The only thing that is frustrating about immersive engineering is you never know where you're actually supposed to click. There we go. Usually it's the middle block of something, but in this case, it was a little frustrating. All right, so this is all working now. All we have to do is make sure that these are being powered. This gets power on the top in both cases. So we can just use our energy cables, again, our energy conduits actually from Ender.io. And we're going to run these over from the main stretch here that we had set up before. All right, so let's go ahead and cable these up. This will get a pattern provider there. This will get a pattern provider there. We will run the cables into our cable network that's in the ground there. So that's the input. I think the bottling machine, I can't remember if the bottling machine needs to take a second input in a different slot. And then the export here is the only other thing that's going to be a little weird. These are easy enough for us. We can just go ahead and wire these in. These are just standard export buses. So we'll bring those back over this way. This one, we're going to need a chest. We haven't used chests in a while. We do remember how chests work though. This is Minecraft. So we'll throw this here, and then we will put an export bus right here on the back of it. And then we will do the same thing with you. So right here. Perfect. On second thought, I'm going to hold off on automating the bottling machine because in most cases, we'd just be putting bottles on here and filling them, but we don't want to actually fill bottles in this case. We want to do something a little different. So I'll show you that in just a second. Let's start with the squeezer. This is going to be easy enough for us to automate, I think, here. So let's see here. We want to do hop graphite. And hop graphite dust is actually the recipe we want. Let's go to the pattern encoding terminal, and we are going to teach it this one here, that coal coke dust needs to be turned into that. Do we have any coal coke dust left? We have coal coke, but not a lot. Do we have any other sources of coal coke at this point? That was a problem before. We didn't have another way of getting it. We still don't. So I'm probably gonna have to go make a bunch in our coke oven that's all the way back at our original base, and maybe set up a second coal coke oven and just keep this flowing. Well, I guess it's gonna have to be the pulverizer for now, so let's teach it that one. There we go. All right, so now we should be able to sort these up real fast. So let's see here, somewhere in this we should have our squeezer. There's our industrial squeezer. So we're gonna use that for hot graphite dust. And then somewhere in here, we should also have our pulverizer. I don't remember if I set that up yet. I didn't. So we'll just go inside and we will connect this up real fast. I think it's just going to need a couple of cables. All right, so there's all the cabling. We should just be able to put the pattern provider right on top of this thing that we were just dropping them into previously. And now the export bus here is just going to pull everything out when it's done. So let's see here, hop graphite. And now we should be able to make 4 pieces, no problem. There we go. And we can hear it's already pulverizing. It's doing its thing. That's what we like to see. Okay, so I think I've got this figured out here. So I put creosote oil in there. Let's go ahead and throw the metal press plate first and then the graphite dust. There we go. So that's doing a thing. And it looks like we just have to do this like one at a time. Yeah, so we just have to have this mold press on a loop over and over. And thankfully I'm grabbing it out before it can actually finish its processing here to pull out of here, because I do not have acceleration cards into the import bus. Oh, there we go. Okay, so with that done, we should now have hop graphite plates. Okay, wonderful. So that's those. That should be most everything that we need for the HV accumulator, with the exception of our redstone acid. Let's make that up real quick. All we need to do is go get a couple of buckets of water, which thankfully we do have access to water in this pack. So let me grab this up real fast. We'll put this here. We will grab some redstone up and put that like this. There is our bucket of redstone acid. Oh, and it looks like it's going to let us make a second one. Okay, wonderful. 2 is all we need. Let's get out of the water for now real fast here. Back to our particle accelerator. And with that, is that everything we need for the HV accumulator? Yes, it is. Let's make one more of those. Perfect. That takes care of that. So that's easy. All of these things are now done. We do need to make a bunch of electrum coil blocks. Let's see here. So electrum, we have some electrum, we have some electrum wire. How much do we need all said and done to do this? I think we are going to need 8 MV wire coils. You know, we should just go ahead and add all of these recipes, because while we're doing it, let's just do it. Electrum coil blocks, easy to learn. The MV wire coils, also really easy to learn. And I think we already have electrum wire that we can make in the system. So let's just go ahead and add this over here in our extended molecular assembler real fast. Just like that. And now we can tell we want 4 of those. The wire is going to take a while to process. We can hear that's going already down there. All right, we'll swap these out real quick. And then all we need to do is actually grab back up some aluminum wire. I just made 2 pieces of that using our presses as well. All that should go in here, and we should get 2 of those advanced electronic components, remembering to swap back out our blueprints. And actually, let's go ahead and put our blueprints back over here. We had originally had those in our automated workbench, but that has not been working out for us so well, just because it can only do 1 recipe at a time. All right, so that's all taken care of. So let's see here. All that remains, I think. Oh, I don't think anything remains, actually. We are ready to go on this. We do need to make one more so that Geek gets one as well. And now we each have a railgun. Wonderful. Let's go ahead and make the advanced heat sinks for it real quick. And that means we need Constantin plates. I don't think... Oh, we do have Constantin plates. I don't remember what I made those, but apparently I made those. So let's see here. How many of these heat sinks do we need? And how do we install it? Do we remember? I think we have to put it onto a bench like this. Yeah, there we go. And now we should be able to put heat sinks in there. It looks like each gets one at a time. There we go. There's now a heat sink in that. And then I think the railgun, I don't know what else it can get besides a scope. So let's see here. I think the scope is the only other thing, which I believe we'll be able to make. We are missing a spyglass, but we can do that real fast. Let's do 2 of that. We're going to need some steel rods. Steel rod. Let's grab one of those and get to make 3 more. That should only take a second. Yeah, it's going to press that. Okay, that does make sense. All right. So that's 1 scope, and then we just need to wait for this last rod, and there's the 2nd scope. Put this in here. I don't think that there's anything else we want on this. I can't remember what else the railgun needs. But there we go. Now we have a nicely upgraded railgun. And of course, for completing that quest, we also got ourselves a shader. So we might as well make this look nice and pretty, just like that. So now we have a fancied up one. And if I go into 3rd person mode, hopefully we can see that. Yeah, it's blue, I guess. That's fine. All right, so now we have a railgun. The only thing that we are missing from that railgun is, of course, some ammunition. And this is where I think I was talking before that saw blades would be awfully nice. So let's see here. Can we make this? Yeah, I think we can make these real fast. So let's go ahead and make up some saw blades here. Oh, we are missing steel plates. So steel plate, we're going to do, what, 64 of those? That's probably more than we actually need, but we're just going to get a bunch rolling, and then we will use that to make a couple of saw blades. It says durability 2500. I don't know if these return to you or not. That's definitely something we're going to have to learn really fast here. So there's a saw blade. So if I fire this, yep, it looks like it just goes into the wall and uses up a little durability. So that's certainly one way that we can go about this. We probably should also just make up a whole bunch of rods. So let's make up some iron rods real fast. Iron rod. Yeah, that'll be our backup ingredient because those are also easy to make. Okay, we are now armed. We are now armored. So let's see if we can't make another run at this. I don't know how well this is going to go, but we are going to make an attempt. Okay, so there's the big bad. He's still there. It would be off. Oh, there's 2 of them now. That's even worse. I'm going to turn on my magnet and see if that helps me with a rail. There's 4 of them. That seems... Oh, and also a squid. This seems excessive. Okay, but we're going to do whatever we can. 4 of these does seem like way too many Tentacled Horrors. I should be using the railgun that we created. And it looks like I took out 1 with my saw blade. I'm guessing from that reward. But I think it is now out of power, so I think we are down to our atomic disassembler. And I can't see a darn thing down here. Are you under me? What's going on? That's a squid. Ugh. Okay, a giant squid got me. But we definitely took out at least 1 of those beasties. Oh, and it looks like we got a Crimson Lotus grab bag, but I didn't get anything else from it. All right, I've given myself a little time for everything to despawn. I made myself a minigun for Pneumaticraft, and that seems to be doing a lot better job on dealing with a lot of these baddies here, particularly the squid. It seems to knock out real quick. So I'm just going to clean up here, get as much skulk as I can, and then probably try to hightail it out of here. Alright, so we're back in the thick of things here, and these tentacled monstrosities keep appearing, and we've got a warden somewhere. And it doesn't look like the minigun is having any trouble with them. We're just cutting everything down to size, but I don't know where the trial spawner actually is. Ooh, something just hit me. Oh, that's the trial spawner. Okay. So somewhere in there, there's a warden. And if I can find it, I should be able to deal with it. Ah, I think we found it. The question is, do we have enough bullets to deal with it? Ah! Well, that'll show him who's boss. That was my first ever encounter with a warden, and I think we took him out pretty handily. Okay, so minigun is absolutely the one that's winning at this point, even though it requires me to use Pneumaticraft, which we all know how much I enjoy that. All right, so I'm going to keep digging out as much skulk as I can, and yeah, we'll head back to base. All right, I think we can call that a successful journey. We got 7,000 skulk out of that, including 4 skulk catalysts and 4 skulk sensors and 2 skulk shriekers. So that's going to be enough skulk to get us through the next section of quests, I think, with no trouble whatsoever. Well, I think we are well set up to progress further in the pack. I've gone ahead and set up a little armory here so Geek and I can have our choice of weapons as we are moving through the last couple of quests here. But I think that's going to be the end of this episode. So for now, thanks again for watching. I'll see you back here next time. Bye, friends.